Hi, this is Mark Nejmeh from Newsweek.com. I'm here with Pete and Mike Beson, who is running for county commissioner as a freeholder. And
They changed the name.
commissioner now. So what used to be a freeholder is now a commissioner, which might make people understand the job a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me what a freeholder used to do, and tell me what a commissioner does now.
Well, they do the same thing. It was just a title change to make it more attuned to where we are in the country when this was freeholder was named. So now it's county commissioner. There are 5 county commissioners. They all have equal standing, so there's 5 votes.
Mm-hmm.
You need obviously 3 to get a majority.
Okay.
And the county is in charge of our park system, our county roads,
Right.
Health and Human Services, Department of Health, Social Services, our library, and a lot of other things. It's a $500 million budget.
Okay, so that's
So
very
they have a
helpful.
big responsibility.
That's very helpful.
Yes.
So the money comes in
Uh-huh.
from either the federal government or the taxpayer.
It's a tax.
Okay, the taxpayer. And then your commission says, okay, well, how can we spend this money wisely?
Right. Well, I'm not on the commission yet. I'm not a commissioner yet.
Right.
So I'm running for a 3-year term against the incumbent commissioner.
Right.
And if I get elected, then I will have a say in how the county operates.
Okay, all
The
right.
budget.
So what are your plans?
Well, first, I hope you don't.
I don't mind the dog at all.
Pete, come here.
Pete's a good dog, folks, so.
Pete, come here.
Just understand, a
We're-
man cannot live without his dog.
We're in my office here in Eaton. In any case, I would like to do a lot of things in Monmouth County. First of all, the fact that it's 5-0 one party, and it's 5-0 Republican right now,
Mhm.
is not a great thing, because there's nobody watching what's going on.
Mhm.
My opponent, Sue Kiley, gave herself a 11% raise last April in the middle of the pandemic and never voted on it.
Okay, what
There
was she being paid? How much?
The original salary was, I think it was at 25 at one point, then it went to 27, and then it went to 30.
Okay, so.
Very confusing how this all worked, but in a nutshell, she gave herself a raise without a vote. They did not vote on their raise.
Mhm.
The public had no option to comment on it.
Right,
So they gave themselves she gave herself an 11% raise
right.
in the dark, without anybody having any comments or any
Okay,
public input.
so let me ask you, so that's $30,000?
Yes, they make $30,000.
So that's about $15 an hour?
It might, on a yearly basis?
Yeah, I think it is.
Maybe a little
$15
less,
an
yeah.
hour.
It's not a
So-
full-time position.
All right, so if it's, let's say it's half that time.
Yeah.
So, and how much money does the commission get?
The board?
Yeah.
What do you mean, how much is our budget?
Oh,
How
your
much is
budget,
the county
yeah.
budget? $500 million.
So $500 million. So
Yes.
we trust people that basically get the salary of a Starbucks barista with $500 million.
Mm-hmm. I don't go into this position for the salary. I don't look at public service as a way to get a salary. I think the position I have is, it's fine to get paid. If you're going to give yourself a raise, do it in the light of day.
Okay.
It's very simple.
Do they get any benefits?
They do not.
No health insurance?
No, the state, there's a state law under Corzine which changed that.
Okay, so no benefits, no vacation pay.
It's not a full-time job.
Okay, what about pension?
I believe it's pensionable, but I'm not positive.
Okay, so they take the value of that salary.
I believe so,
And is
yes.
it matched?
I believe the state, again, I don't know, I'm not a commissioner yet, something I can look into, but I believe it is pensionable, but not everybody opts for the pension.
Okay, all right.
But my point is, going back, is if you want to give yourself a raise, that's fine, just do it in the light of day.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's assume you have a $50,000 car,
Uh-huh,
and you needed to get it to Florida.
yeah.
Would you pay somebody $15 an hour to drive it down? Probably not. So as a taxpayer in Monmouth County, shouldn't we be paying people much more so the job is more attractive? So that good people take the job?
I don't think so, no, I don't think these are full-time positions.
Even a part-time position, we should be paying people more money.
I don't have a problem with people taking a little salary. I do have a problem when they're not doing it in the when they give themselves a raise.
Right.
It's not about the salary, it's about the raise.
Okay.
She gave herself a raise without a vote.
Well, let's say there's a CPA watching this now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're savvy, they're worried about their family, they have a
Mhm.
couple of kids. Would they be a good candidate to become a commissioner?
I think anybody would be a good candidate to become a commissioner. I think anybody who lives in Monmouth County, if they care about what goes on, they care about the community, should run.
Okay.
But it's not for everybody, it's a tough business.
Right. So $500 million, $500 million
Billion.
dollars is a lot of money.
Yeah.
For people that aren't incentivized to do the job because of their pay, they want to keep the job.
You talking about the commissioners?
I'm talking about commissioners. Shouldn't they be incentivized to, by pay, through pay, like corporations are?
If it's a full-time job.
Even a part-time job, it's a $500 million.
No, our system of government, these are not, if they were full-time jobs, maybe, and they had no other, if I get elected, I'm gonna continue to run my business. That's my full-time job.
Right.
But, I mean, this is just we're having a debate what the
No, I'm
true sense
asking
is.
you questions.
Yeah, no,
$500 million is not.
it's a lot of money, but you also remember, there's staff and professionals that help run the county government. You have an administrator that runs the county government.
Oh, okay, all right.
They don't run it on their own. There's a big staff. There's auditors, there's financial people, there's a lot of big.
So let's talk more
staff.
specifically on who makes that decision of where and how that money, $500 million is split up. Does the administrator and the people in, the paid public employees, do they make the decision?
The commissioners vote on the budget. They decide what their priorities are in the budget.
Okay.
But you have to rely, having been a mayor, you rely on your.
Oh, you're a mayor.
I was Mayor of Neptune.
Oh.
So you have to rely on your staff to come
Right.
up with budget priorities. Because again, mayor's not even a part-time job in some towns.
What
So
does a mayor get paid?
Every town's different. I don't remember. I think when I was there, it was like $3,000 a year. I'm really not sure.
Mhm.
Again,
How long were you mayor?
I was on the committee for one term, 3 years, and we rotate as mayor, so 1 year as mayor. Again, I don't think anybody goes into public service for the salary.
But shouldn't they?
No, I don't think that's a reason to run for office. Run for office because you want it to good for your community.
All right, so you were with Neptune.
Yes.
So let me ask you a Neptune
Sure.
question.
It was a long time ago.
I lived in Bradley Beach.
Uh-huh. Great town.
Yeah, it's a nice town. I lived on North Ave.
Mm-hmm.
Neptune and Bradley Beach, since this is kind of like the public spending, thing, they share the sewage costs, right, or how they manage it?
I think the Neptune Township Sewage Authority, Bradley Beach might be part of it. I don't know right now.
Okay.
But Neptune has a sewage authority which runs, works for other communities.
Okay.
It's a regional one.
Right, just because you and I both pay attention to the news, there's been a number of shootings in Asbury and Neptune, and since you're gonna handle Monmouth County, does the commission look at these things?
I would think as commissioner, of course you care about public safety. I would say that public safety is first and foremost a local job.
Right.
Or local police departments which handle that. And then you have supplemental agencies like state police, sheriff's office. Those are the other, and then you have our prosecutor's office as well, so.
Right, so you said that the commissioner handles human services.
Among other things, they have grant programs.
What are the grant programs for?
I think there's.
Variety of social services? Or?
Right now, under COVID, the counties had a lot of money, federal money to give out.
Right. So it's a good opportunity for someone that has a nonprofit social service to try to get that capital.
Yeah, I would think so.
And do the commissioners decide who gets that money?
Commissioners do all the funding, yeah.
Do all the funding?
I mean, they are responsible for how the money gets spent. You have to vote on it.
Right. So to all the people that run nonprofits out there, and it seems like we have an explosion of nonprofits.
Yes.
What's the procedure once you get into office?
I don't know the procedure right now. I think it's interesting that we bring this up because the Monmouth Ocean Food Bank, Phil, in Neptune Township, which I used to be a member of the board, had asked the Board of Commissioners last year during COVID for a grant of over $300,000 to help feed needy residents. The Commissioner, Sue Kiley, did not respond and did not give the food bank, which was run at the time by former Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno. They did not fund it.
They didn't fund the food bank?
No. And
why didn't they fund it?
I don't know. You ask them. I don't know why they didn't.
Was there a surplus of capital afterwards?
I don't know. We don't have a full accounting of how the first batch of COVID funds were spent within another batch. The fact that Ocean County gave the food bank, $300,000, I think is interesting that Ocean County did it and my own home county could not do it. I don't know. And then the ironic thing is, so this March, Kim Guadagno sent a letter to the commissioners asking again for money from COVID relief funds to help the food bank, and they didn't give them any money, and Kim Guadagno is no longer with the food bank.
Okay. Who are the commissioners now?
There's 5 of them.
Right. Do you know who they are? Or?
I know, but I'm really not. I'm only running against Sue Kiley, so I don't
okay.
think it's that relevant.
It's kind of relevant to the taxpayers.
Yeah, I mean, people should know who they
How
are.
long have they been there?
I don't know how long each member's been there, maybe 1 term for some. I know there was a newly elected one last year, so he's on his first term, and, I think the commissioner director's probably been, and Commissioner Burry have probably been there the longest.
Right. So how did the budget break down last year, and how do you see it being broken down once you get involved?
Well, I think I really need to dig into it. The public can only see so much of the budget. You have budget sheets you need to go through. Last year,
So wait, the public is not allowed to see?
You can, you would have to Oprah most of it, the workshop.
Right, so you have to apply to get the public.
Oprah, yeah. But I would say last year is an anomaly because of COVID. So, and even this year because so much federal funding was put in.
Are you in favor of kind of easing that restriction as far as letting people see where the commission spends money?
I wouldn't say, I want to be on the record, I'm not saying they're not I don't know that they're hiding things.
I'm not saying they're hiding.
Yeah, no, I know you're not. I think the public should be able to come and see every part of the budget. It shouldn't have to be Oprah.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of important because when I owned a house, I don't own a house anymore in New Jersey. I don't live in New Jersey, I live in Florida. But when people spend, $10,000, and now that the SALT, the tax write-off for private houses more expensive is kind of gone.
Yeah.
So that's where the money comes from, is it's property taxes. So $500 million, I think it's kind of, would you plan on just kind of at least making a statement to people once you get elected, which most likely you're going to get elected?
We'll hope so.
Saying, okay, this is where I have things slated, I'm going to put, 600,000 here, 700,000 here.
I will have priorities, if I'm elected, I will have priorities, but being in the minority, there'll be 4 Republicans, 1 Democrat. I think my role will certainly be, look, 2 things. I work with anybody. I have friends on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
There's so much that brings, we have so much in common, but for now, whatever the political parties on both sides, we have so much between us. But when you look at the issues, 99% we'll probably agree on. There'll be some we don't.
Right.
So I want to work with them with my priorities for the county, whether that's more arts funding, whether that's making sure we don't have a food insecurity issue again, whether that's low interest or micro loans to small businesses. Also, I want to do work to make sure movie production comes here.
Microloans for small business.
Yes.
Let's hear about that.
What the federal government did during the COVID, during the heat of it, was give monies to states and counties to give out to small businesses to survive. What I want to do is I want to encourage small businesses to start here in Monmouth County. I want to provide incubator space in county properties or other locations where people who want to start a business can come and use the internet, have access to whatever they need, and even experts to start their small business. A lot of times when you have people working together, you come up with great ideas. So I want to do that. We have a great tech infrastructure here in Monmouth County with Bellworks and other places. I want to do that.
So you want to fund some of the operations at Bellworks?
No, not at Bellworks. I want to fund incubators, small offices similar to this,
Okay.
where people could come in and use the internet, collaborate, have a desk to set up.
So if an incubator is set up as
The county should pay for it.
the county should pay for it. So
Correct.
if somebody runs a profit business to rent out desks, should the county pay for it?
I wouldn't have a problem with that, but I'd rather the county just lease a building, lease a couple offices and put in internet and Wi-Fi and make it available for people to just sign up and come use it.
Okay.
And then if they have a business plan and we think it's potentially viable, and I really want to encourage minority and women businesses, owners, I would think a microloan of $5,000 that would be a great start for a small business to start.
Right.
And if we find over a couple of year period or a year period, whatever, how we want to set it up, that they've hired people, I'd have no problem forgiving that loan
Right.
as well.
What type of businesses are you thinking?
Anything, a restaurant, a tech startup, anything. You know, if somebody's making t-shirts, it doesn't matter to me, but it's an opportunity to grow business here. We want people, you know, I have a son graduating college, I'd like him to stay in Monmouth County.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he's moving to Jersey City for a year, but I'd like him to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he wants to start his own business, or maybe there's more opportunity. The more opportunity here, the more people will stay here,
Right.
and the better it is. And if we have more businesses here, then that's productive.
Right. So, I guess Monmouth County has primarily been a Republican area,
Yes.
and I'm assuming the Democrats want to be more socially oriented to help people out.
Mhm.
Do you think the Republicans have not helped people?
You know, I think the food bank is a prime example of them missing out on helping people in need. I think we just have different priorities. I don't think anybody runs for office, or any people sitting in government are people that are doing it for wrong reasons. I just think they have different priorities, that's all.
Well, what was their priorities? Nobody knows that until they're told.
I can't explain why they didn't give money to.
No, but what did they support?
I think they support, in terms of what aspect?
Well, they had $500 million. What did they support?
Well, they have obligations. You have bonds you have to repay, you have financial obligations, you have magnets, you know, schools to run, we have academies throughout the county.
Mhm.
So they have, you know.
So they prioritize their money towards schools?
Well, no, I think there's budget requirements. You have to fund the roads, you have to fund social service, you have to fund the library. Those are just what they are.
Would you ever apply for an Oprah access to past spending so that
Sure.
voters would know?
Sure.
So you'll do that?
Sure, yeah.
You'll make the past couple years public?
If there's things that I can't find that are publicly available, of course, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that would be very helpful. Nobody
Yeah.
knows what the heck you guys do.
What the commissioners do.
Yeah.
I'm not commissioner yet.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. And
There's a
whether
big
it's
disconnect.
whether it's Passaic County, Essex County, or
I
Monmouth
think-
County.
I think the people don't know what county government does. I think that's always been.
And we don't know how much debt you have, and we don't know what the debt service is, and we don't know if you're planning on more debt. We don't know who manages those bonds,
A
and
lot of
what
that's-
commissions are earned
A lot
just
of,
by.
yeah, a lot of that's publicly available,
When you say publicly available, when we're voting for someone like you, instead of us hearing a politician bash the other side, we kind of like to hear the facts
Mhm.
of, okay, well, I would have spent money this way, but they had these money bonds.
Oh, I agree with you.
I think that's what,
I'm
as
not
a-
there yet. I think I gave you some of my priority.
Yeah.
Small businesses. I want to see, I want to establish an office on equality here. I want to diversify our workforce. In addition, I think we should have an office for motion picture and television production. Monmouth County is a beautiful place, got a lot of scenic venues, a lot of places where people could come, film their TV shows or movies here. As a matter of fact, Ben Stiller is filming at Bellworks right now, which is really great. I want to encourage that and bring production here, which brings more jobs.
How much money would you give movie production?
I don't have to give, the county doesn't have to give the production company anything, because there's a new state law that Governor Murphy signed into when he first got into office, which has credits, tax credits. It's a state program.
So, how do the tax credits work? The movie company pays their employees, they're gonna get payroll tax credits?
whatever the state controls, they get a certain amount of tax returns. I don't know how the scale works, you have to apply for it. There's an Office of Movie and Television Production, but I want to create our own, just to bring people here and help them through the state program.
Right. With the divisive, this is more of a big picture of a politician. Which you're a politician, whether or not you stepped up from mayor, now you're the commissioner. I may be talking to the future governor. I'm not
never.
sure.
No.
Or
No,
state senator.
I'd be very happy just.
Or maybe even a Washington person. So, right now, your party, the Democratic Party, made a big deal about defunding the police nationwide.
Yeah.
We had rioting on the streets. We had a hyper focus on hey, blacks need more support and more respect and so forth. And the Democratic Party got behind that 100%.
I would take issue with two things.
Okay.
The Democratic Party that I know did not suggest at all not funding the police. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
So you're definitely not for defunding the police?
I absolutely not. I think it's ludicrous to even consider something like that. As a commissioner, I don't think we have much say in how policing happens. Sure, there needs to be reforms, but I'll say this. I support the police. I always have, I always will. I was a police commissioner in Neptune. I was on the committee there. And I don't know why people have to, again, it's just take one side or the other. Why can't I support the ability for African Americans to feel safe as well as support the police? I don't know why there has to be a dividing line. It doesn't make, it doesn't help anything. We need to come together and work together, which I know police departments here in Monmouth County are trying to do that. I know the prosecutor's office is doing that. So.
Was it a black and white issue or is it a crime issue?
What do you mean?
I mean that the safety of people typically is because they're in danger. So are they in danger because there's a crime, or are they in danger because the attitude of police towards them?
You know, that, I don't even know how to answer that, because.
I'm just kind of repeating what I've heard on television. I'm a television junkie.
Yeah, so if Fox News says that it's a crime problem, it's not necessarily.
So it's not a crime problem?
I'm sorry, if somebody gets pulled over and has no weapons and is beaten up, that's not a crime problem. But, of course there's crime. Did I like what happened in Minnesota where they burned down the police department? Of course not. Nobody did. No one did. This is just, to me, it's not, I just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
That people in my party come up with this ridiculous term. Of course we fund our police.
Right.
I want to be able to call the police if I have an issue. Everybody wants to be able to call the police. Most people are law-abiding citizens, 99.9%. So, I just.
How about the bail reform, where we're saying, well, you're poor, you committed a crime, we don't think you should have to pay bail. How do you feel about that?
It's been working. I mean, it's not perfect, but it has been working, bail reform.
Right, so if you commit a crime, no bail, really? Just
I think it depends on the severity of it.
Okay.
I'm not an expert in that field.
As a former mayor of Neptune, how do you feel about the shootings in Neptune that occurred? And the outright, I think there was a murder a couple years back right at the VFW in plain daylight.
Are you talking about when that pharmacist was killed 20 years ago or so?
No, I'm talking about a couple years ago.
Okay.
And there's been several shootings, actually. There was a young man that was shot down on 7th in Neptune.
How do I feel about any of it? It's terrible.
Right.
I mean, it's awful.
Right. So the police, when they are policing, right, unless they have a certain amount of intimidation to everybody. I remember one time I was walking down the street and I had a branch during the blackout, and a policeman pulled over and said, well, that could be like a weapon. Drop it. I had to drop it.
Okay.
I respect it.
That's reasonable.
Right. But unless they provide that type of intimidation, they can't really do their job, right? I mean, I respect police, I'm telling you.
I do too. I mean, but
But we're getting this message from the Democratic Party that people should ease up on policing.
I'm not suggesting that we ease up on policing. I think there's a balance where people who are just law-abiding citizens who did nothing wrong should feel safe, especially people of color. It's just, I think.
Especially people of color or everyone?
Well, especially people of color, yes, sure. I mean, I can't tell you from experience because I'm not of color, but people I know have had issues with police.
Mhm.
Just being pulled over for no reason. Look,
There's people that get pulled
Mark,
over for riding their bike on the sidewalk.
this to me, you know, it's not what I'm running for. I'm running for commissioner. I don't have, there's no police department under me.
I realize that, but you're the guy that we're gonna look to be a voice for
believe,
everybody.
I think it's silly.
We'll leave that question behind.
No, ridiculous to talk about not helping our police. It's ridiculous. I support the police 100%.
All right, last question on a national level. What the heck happened in Haiti? We have a lot of Haitians here in Monmouth.
Yeah, a lot, in Asbury Park especially.
Yeah, I mean.
It's terrible what happened.
What's your read on it? I mean.
Just what I've read in the papers is some mercenaries were hired by who knows who to assassinate the president.
Well, let's hope that kind of activity doesn't happen here. I don't really have much more to ask you.
Yeah.
But I
thanks.
appreciate.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
I appreciate you.
It was hard hitting.
I wasn't hard hitting.
No, I'm joking with you, man.
I think every American today is like, well, what the heck is going on?
I'll talk to anybody about anything,
Yeah,
and
cool.
I'll just leave with this, that there's not that much that divides us. There really isn't, especially on a county level, local level, there's not much to divide us. We can just work together. I'll work with anybody to get things done for the community.
I can tell you this, Newsweek is gonna be looking to you to provide us with how you're gonna change how the money was spent last time. You pointed out.
Absolutely, I will.
You pointed out the food bank that
Yeah.
didn't get money.
Yeah.
We wanna know how it was spent last and what you're gonna do to change it.
I'm taking into that.
All right, great, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.